Okay, so my name is Afterburn from undergroundsecurity.com. You may have seen my other videos regarding hacking or basically doing other tricks, if you will, with your computer. Today what we're going to discuss is actually PHP form mail injections. PHP form mail injections will allow you to inject your own code into a person's website's contact form. This allows you to spoof email identities. You can be anybody who you want to be. You can also use this for spamming purposes. You can send out to multiple email addresses from that server's address, thus hiding your actual address, and pretty much abuse their mail system for your own personal gain. I don't recommend doing this to anybody. I have a test script set up on my server to give you a proof of concept. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, here we have just your average everyday basic contact form. You can find these on most websites. It may not have an extension, it may have an extension, what have you. The first thing that we want to do is actually go ahead and right click on this and go to view page source. I'm using Firefox, of course. Let me bring this up here in the view. Basically what we're going to look for is the form method for what they're going to use to post. Usually it's a post to another script somewhere else on the server. Here you can see this is just my test script, of course, so it's easy to find. If you had to, you can just search the page source, for form method or something with form. Here we can see all highlighted: form method post action equals form to mail.php. Again, this is a script that I've have, and we're going to use that for our proof of concept. So we know that it's posting to some sort of PHP script that processes mail. Our very next step would be to find what's actually in that PHP script, what's calling the email address who it sends to, because generally the admin of the site wants this email from this contact form sent to their email address that they specify. Usually they have to specify that email address inside the actual PHP script itself. So you need to obtain this PHP script and know a general basic about PHP variables and syntaxes and things of that nature. I'm going to show you real quick what the actual script looks like. I've already went ahead and downloaded it. Okay, what I've gone and done is downloaded the PHP form to mail script. There's different ways you can get this. Sometimes servers have different security for downloading methods of scripts and so on and so forth. But as I said, I was able to obtain this script. Basically what we're looking for is variables. Variables are used to call in certain elements, especially from a contact form of some sort of post or something like that. At the top of the script here you can see, I'll highlight it, it generally starts with a greater than less than sign and a question mark in PHP. That starts the PHP code itself. In here you're going to see your mail to address. Now your syntax or your variables for your syntaxes are generally put out there by a money sign or a dollar sign to start off the syntax. So what we see here is $ mail to address equals quote admin at myserver.com quote and then colon. So what we need to do is write this down, this variable down, into a text pad or something. Just remember it. Redirect the URL. This is for a successful submissions of the PHP mail. You got your mail subject, and this here you can also write down, if this was included in the script, your mail subject, because then you can change the subject of the email you're sending out. The send HTML you don't have to worry about, that's just part of the script, and so is the server check, so you don't really have to worry about those either. Now that we have those, we can write those down in the notepad. Once we have those down in notepad, we're going to go back to the original site and look at the actual post method of the form itself, and we need to find out the variables as actually posting to this script as well. Okay, again, simply we just have our text document we're using temporarily to actually create our syntax to inject this script. we again have our mail to address, as we saw in the PHP script before, written down, and also our mail subject written down. So we can change the subject of the email to spoof it to whatever hello Fred or what have you, to trick your user into thinking it's an actual valid email address. Next, what we need to do is, like I said, go ahead and go back to that original site's form and find out what it's posting to this PHP script. Okay, so again, we're back at our target's website. We're looking at the source code again to that form page. What we're looking for really is just some input types. And your input types are what is actually being posted to the PHP script, and then in turn your PHP script would read what's being posted and put that into the necessary variables. What we're looking for, again, as said, is input type. We're going to have an input type here of text. This just means that the user has the ability to input some sort of text into a text box and then send it to the server. Then the name is what's actually being sent to the server. So in this case, it's name for the name of the person that's looking to mail you. As you can see, name and name is a little confusing, so I'll show you again down here. Input type is text again. Name equals email, so I guess they're asking for your email address in this one. What we need to write down is actually what's inside the quotes of name. So in turn, we're going to need to write down email. Again, you can write this down in your TextPad file where you have your other variables, where we're actually going to create the injection URL script to inject into the web page. So you can write down these names right here, email, again down here number, and up here name, so on and so forth going down. Okay, so pretty much we're back at our text file where we've been writing down all of our information we've collected so far, and now we're going to begin to actually write our injection script, or injection URL if you will, to inject that form to mail PHP script. What we're going to want to start off with here is the actual name of the script itself. So in our case, it's form to mail.php. Whoops, I misspelled that. Form to mail.php. Then what we want to do is put a question mark at the end of that. And now we're ready to start actually writing our injection code. Our injection code is going to consist of what we gathered so far from the PHP script itself, the variables, as well as the actual HTML form that posts to that PHP script. What we want to start off with is the mail to address. So what we do is we put an and sign because we're about to include something that we want to post to the script, and we're going to do mail to address. Okay, and then we need to put an equal sign because it needs to equal some sort of value. Basically, this is where the injection actually comes in. We need to inject our own value into what mail to address equals. So mail to address, we're going to put our target victim. I've set up a test, spam email here on one of my accounts, basically to show you a proof of concept that the spam mail actually works. So what we're going to do is put spam at security.com. Okay, if you wanted to put another email address or a group of email addresses, you would simply separate them by a comma. No spaces, just a comma. So then we would just do spams at securityworks.com. That doesn't exist, so we're not really going to do two at this point. But you could put multiple email addresses in here if you separate them by commas. No spaces. Okay, so the next interesting thing that we're going to want to do is just put another and sign because we're about to include another piece of information to inject. We're going to move down to our mail subject. So we do mail subject, and we're going to do equals, and we want to put this into what our mail subject actually equals, what we want it to say. In this case, we're just going to put hello, and then we're going to put hello spam. But what I want to show you is that anytime you go to put a space, as if you were to hit your space bar, as far as it being in a browser goes, you have to put a %20. So we do the % sign and 20. So that gives us an actual space. And then we'll just put spam. And then what we're going to do next is put another and sign because we're, again, going to include some other bit of information to inject. Now we're going to move down to actually what we found in the contact form. I've went ahead and looked at the contact form a little bit more, and it actually says message. Now this would be the body of our email that we're going to send. Generally they usually have a message box, something you can ask a question in or what have you, put a comment in or something. So what we want to start off from the top there is go name, So we'll put name equals, and we'll just put Bob. Why not? And then we'll put another and sign because we're going to include something else. Then we put email. Now this is the email that you want to say it came from. So we just put email, and then equals no one at nosite.com. Okay, so you can put any email in here you wanted to. You can even put your email, but if you're going to be a weird spammer or something, of course you don't want to put in your original email. If you want to get past most spam filters, what you would do, or what attackers do, is actually put in the email address of the person they're sending it to. So for instance, if we were just sending it to spam@securityworks.com, we would just put in spam@securityworks.com. So next they're asking for a number in the contact form. Well, to avoid having issues, sometimes what coders will do, they'll write in where it checks each field to make sure each field that's required is actually there. If not, it'll give you an error. So we just want to follow their rule set, not try to break any rules and have errors, make it as hassle-free as possible. So we'll just put another and sign, and then we're going to put number, and number equals, we'll just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I put another and sign to include something else. Now here comes the part where they're asking for the message. Now again, this is your body of text that you're sending in the email. You know, hello world, I'm a spammer, I'm crazy, whatever. What we just do is message equals, and I'm just going to put in one word here because I don't want to go crazy with %20s. So we're just going to put tester, and then that's pretty much it. So that's all they asked for really in the form. There were some check boxes and some radio buttons and drop down menus and things of that nature. We're not going to go too crazy with that. I know that they don't require those in the actual script itself. If they did, you'd have to write those out. So basically it'd be the same kind of thing: input, type, drop down, whatever. So now we pretty much formatted our URL that we're going to inject into that PHP script. The next step is actually to post it into the URL and inject that script so we can send our email. Okay, so basically we're just right over here at our target site that we're going to use to inject our script, or their script I should say. Basically all you got to do now is go up here to your URL navigation bar, copy and paste the script we just wrote from that text file, and paste it right into here simply. Once you have that, just make sure, do a quick once over, make sure your syntax is right. Everything seems to be fine. Now when I post this, or when I hit enter, it's going to go to a saying that the server's not available. That would be the redirect URL. In that script I just have it set to some random URL. So what we're going to do is go ahead and just hit enter now, and you should see my little, or hear my little mail guy come out and tell me that I have mail here in a few minutes. But we're going to go ahead and just fast forward and show you the proof of concept that we actually have mail now at the spam@security-works.com. Okay, so here we are in my mail client, which is set up to the spam@securityworks.com, and we see we have new mail here from Bob, and the subject is hello spam, and it was received today, 10/26/2006. And go ahead and open this email. What's interesting to see is that it's from Bob, of course, to spam@securityworks.com, which we specified both of those inside of our PHP injection, as well as the subject hello spam. And you can see where the space is here. That was where we put our %20, so everything worked out fine. It includes the mail to address spam@securityworks.com in the body of the message. Mail subject hello spam. Name is Bob, of course, again. Email is no1@nosite.com. The number that we included for the form was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, of course, and the message was tester. We only put one word because I didn't want to go crazy with the %20s. Now I have it set up in that script to actually send the sender's IP address. I of course used a proxy to do this, so it's not showing my real address here in sender IP. But I used that to block people from trying to spam with similar forms that I've used. I've just added this function into it. So another thing we can see here is if we actually go to the properties of it and we can go read the header, you'll see where it's coming at. Return path, nobody at their actual mail server, envelope to spam@securityworks.com, and you can see that all the information is pretty much well hidden in here. Your real IP address isn't really seen in here that I'm aware of when you sent it. What it's going to show is actually the server you injected. It's going to show their IP address and their stuff. So basically that's just it. It's a little proof of concept here that, you know, form mails are actually injectable. Most of them are. You can find these on gaming sites where, you know, it says email this game to a friend. Basically just sends a link to, you know, multiple or one email address of your friend saying, hey, you know, I found this cool game and, you know, go check it out. But really, you can inject those scripts once you get a hold of that PHP script itself that it's using to post to, and you figure out how their syntaxes work and their variables. You can in turn inject that script. There's really no patch that I'm aware of for this besides tracking and banning IP addresses, you know, certain permissions inside, say, a Linux web server or, you know, whatever mail server you happen to be using. So as I said, this is just another proof of concept. Hope you enjoyed my video. This is Afterburn from undergroundsecurity.com. Take care.